For Master of Arts in Education, major in English. An ASIS awardee 2019, 2018 Dubai ISA Young Teacher Awardee, and is currently working on her second funded classroom-based research. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Miss Maribel Capitle.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So, again, I am Belle. You can call me Belle for short, and I am an educator like you. So, this afternoon, we'll be talking about a lot of things that may have bothered us while we're having our online classes, the struggles of our students in this time of pandemic, and also how do we really overcome nervousness, lack of discipline, and learning anxiety in an online communication. So please allow me to share my PowerPoint presentation with you. So again, good afternoon. Let us start our sharing. So I'd like to know first, where are you now? What is your state? No? So if I ask you what's your state, kumusta po kayo? Are you currently person A? No? Are you currently person A? Are you having difficulties with your deadlines? If you're a teacher or if you're a student, do you still turn off your microphones and cameras all the time whenever you're asked to present or recite? No, are you still struggling as of this time, especially navigating tools online? Or are you person B? No, are you the teacher who is experiencing enjoyment in terms of online communication with his or her students? Are you the student who is very relaxed right now, no, nag-enjoy sa kanyang online class? So we have chat box there. I'm currently in Zoom, so you may want to key in your answers dyan sa chat box. And let us know kung ngayon ba is nasa A ba tayo or are we B person? All right. Yan. So thank you very much. You may be A, you may be B. Unfortunately, a lot of us are still experiencing struggles whenever we communicate online. And sometimes it's just so hard, no, to be into this particular technology or into this particular communication process where we no longer see each other face to face, no? Most of us are currently in the situation where we struggle to communicate properly with our students and of course students alike to their teachers. Okay? And in this afternoon, hopefully no makita natin yung pwede nating gawin while we are experiencing communication with our students. Okay? So first, I'd like to talk to you about affective filter. Affective filter was the theory I used as an underpinning for my research. And I'd like to share with you what affective filter is all about. So let's have a quick background. So affective filter is a theoretical construct in second language acquisition that attempts to explain emotional variables associated to student success and failures in second language acquisition. So this is primarily used, no, fifth hypothesis of Stephen Krashen. Unfortunately, whenever we talk about emotional variables or affective filters, these emotional variables are invisible. No, invisible siya. Hindi natin siya nakikita, no, hindi natin nahahawakan. It's invisible. So sometimes it's too difficult to know if our students are already experiencing difficulty in an online learning class, no, or if a teacher is already experiencing struggle in teaching. Okay? So let's try to bring that aspect to communicating online, especially now that we have already migrated into this kind of platform. So how do we know, or how do we know if there is high filter or low filter in a particular communication process, especially when we communicate with our students? So first, for low filter, we would know if our students become risk takers, no? And then our students feel safe in making mistakes. Our students feel empowered. Our students are comfortable in raising questions and concerns. Most of you who are listening this afternoon are also teachers and are also students. No? May nag-aaral pa tayo for our advanced studies. No? Mga estudyante rin tayo. So we know very well if our students are risk takers in our classes. We know very well if they feel safe making mistakes or they feel comfortable raising questions, especially concerns na nalilito sila sa instructions natin. How about if there is high filter in our classrooms? first, your students experience stress. No, a lot of webinars have already been presented to us, especially through VIBAL. No, pinakita bakit ba tayo nagkakaroon ng stress? Why teachers experience stress? Why students experience stress? No. Also, there is high filter inside the classroom if students feel self-conscious. No, conscious sila sa sarili nila whenever you ask them to present. Ayaw nilang mag-open ng microphone, and some would say sira ang kanilang microphone, no? Also, when our students are reluctant to participate, no? Minsan sinasadya, no? Most students sasadyain na mag-leave ng Meet or ng Zoom meeting, no? And then would tell you na mabagal po kasi yung internet ko. And then also, when students become bored and distance, we feel that as educators. I don't know if you will agree with me, but I believe that if you are a teacher who puts passion to your work, no, ramdam mo if your students find it difficult to be in your classes or find it difficult to follow instructions or follow rules, no? So tingnan natin. And again, let's bring that aspect into our discussion. So there is a meme here. Professor McGonagall, I guess, your face when students don't know how to electronically submit assignments but have magically figured out TikTok, YouTube, and Snapchat. So kunin natin yan mamaya. Also, this is another post coming from VIBAL. Kanina habang nag-scroll ako, nakita ko yung post ni VIBAL. Ang sabi dito, yung Shopee raw ang connection niya, pero ang linaw ng tilaok ng manok sa background. Why do students try to escape online class recitations? Why do they escape communicating online? Why do they intentionally turn off their microphones or do away or shut themselves out whenever there is a Google Meet or an online class? Bakit? Anong meron? No, if we go back to this meme, no, students have magically figured out how to use TikTok, how to share memes, work on memes, do memes, no? How to upload video via YouTube and Snapchat. No, alam nila kung paano, but they find it hard to follow instructions and rules sa Google Classroom. Why so? Okay, so I've conducted a research. No, I've conducted a research, and that's about memes. It's entitled "Integration of Memes in Contextualizing the Development of Communicative Competence," where I used memes to checked the development, no, of the performance of the students if I put memes in my classroom teaching, no? And towards the end of the research, I was successful with the results, and students turn out to have learning gains kung merong memes, no? Bakit ko to ginawa? My first purpose was, as a young teacher, no, teaching English, especially speech and oral communication classes, hirap ka when you're an English teacher. When you set foot into your classroom, students would say, nosebleed, nakakatakot, English. How much more if we communicate with our students via online? No? So this pushed me to work on this. Ano ba ang pwedeng makakuha ng atensyon ng estudyante? No? Bakit pag simpleng instructions, hirap sila, but what if you ask them to make a meme about a certain communicative competence? Bakit nila nagagawa? Ladies and gentlemen, it's because technology is already the language of our students, and we have to speak their language, especially now that we are communicating with them online. Without knowing their language, which is the use of technology, we will never understand them. And likewise, our students would find difficulty understanding our instructions. I'd like to give you an online class scenario, no? And this online class scenario happened at home. Okay? So I have a brother, grade 5 siya, no? Careful si Belle magsabi ng info, no? Grade 5 student siya from an elementary school in Manila. And then I overheard a discussion kasi during that time, I was also about to start my class. Naka-standby na ako for my class. And then, itong kapatid ko, ongoing na yung klase niya. And then, this teacher started the class with, basahin mo, so name of the student, insert the name of the student, basahin mo ang unang talata sa page 35 ng module mo. So, may tinawag na bata, and then, unfortunately, the student answered, ma'am, sorry po, kasi hindi ko po nakuha yung module ko Kasi sabi po ng advisor namin ay ubos na daw po ang module. So, i-schedule pa daw po kami for the next release of the module. So, ibig sabihin, hindi ko masabi kung alibay ba ito ng bata or wala talagang module na available pa. This was, I think, a second week of the synchronous class. And then, even if you are not an English teacher, if you are a teacher or a person, you would know easily, no, paralinguistic features of the voice, kung sumigaw ba ang isang tao or not. And then, the teacher said, bakit wala ka bang kaklase na kapitbahay na may module na? Bakit hindi ka magpo-photocopy? The student did not answer that time. And then the teacher said, sa susunod, dapat may module ka na ha, sisiguraduhin mo na mayroon na. No? These were the exact statements coming from that teacher. And the student said, sorry po ma'am, sige po, magpapa-photocopy po ako. This scenario happened, and I am truly hoping that this is an isolated case. However, this happened. So maaring mangyari siya into our homes, into our online classes, and we raise this so that makita natin kung ano ba yung pwedeng mangyari sa isang estudyante once we drop these statements into an online class or an online classroom. So, anong meron? Bakit ko siya shinare? My brother, no, that time, nire-require silang mag-open ng camera at ng microphone. No, naka-require sila all throughout ng class.
Safety is of utmost importance in cases of emergencies, like health crisis. But this should not impede learning. Students should be allowed to continue learning in the safety of their homes. VIBAL brings you the Smart Homeschool Kit. The Smart Homeschool Kit offers complete tools for a homeschool setup while encouraging collaboration between teachers and parents. This kit contains the following. First, Smart Wizard. These workbooks provide age-appropriate supplementary activity sheets to challenge learners' understanding of the lessons and help them put their learnings into practice. A teacher's guide that serves as a manual for monitoring the learning progress of students at home is also available in the kit. This kit also contains a parent's guide to assist parents in guiding their children while learning at home. Daily lessons are made available in Smart Class, Aside from lessons, these books feature performance tasks aligned with DepEd's K-12 curriculum, good for an entire school year. And to monitor students' learning progress,
Ayan. I'm back again. Ayan, so this learning scenario, I'm so sorry, biglang nagpatay ang laptop, no? Hindi ko alam, but apologies po. So, that's it, no? Nagpatay siya, and then after the lesson, tinanong ko siya, sabi ko sa kanya, why did you turn off your microphone and camera? Bakit mo pinatay? And nagsabi niya, natakot po kasi ako dun sa teacher ko, baka ako po yung sunod niyang pagalitan. But after that particular subject, another subject, no, umattend siya, parang entrepreneurship ata yon. Masaya naman siya, tuwang-tuwa naman siya, nag-open na siya ulit ng camera and then ng microphone, tapos nagtatanong naman siya sa teacher niya. And then yun nga, after yun sinabi niya na she got nervous na baka siya yung sunod na pagalitan although may module naman siya. Okay? So, what's that all about? I mean, we have to practice restorative communication whenever we communicate online. Ano po? It's different when we communicate with our students face to face. Kasi minsan, if we drop a particular joke in a classroom session, madali natin siyang bawiin once na makita natin na yung estudyante is naging uncomfortable with our statement or joke. But online class is different. No, we have to practice restorative communication, and instead of dropping mean words, let us make it meaningful words, no? Ano po? So that's it. Now, let us go to nervousness. No, nervousness is completely normal. That's according to Lucas 20:20. We may want to hit the books, search online, you will always get the same results. And that's nervousness is normal. If you ask me, Belle, are you nervous right now? My answer is yes, especially when my laptop turned off. No? So apologies for that again. So nervousness is completely normal. It is always there. We can never do away with it. But what can we do, no, para magamit natin yung nervousness na meron tayo to enjoy a particular presentation or a speaking situation, especially when we are interacting with our students online? So a research was conducted in US. This was 2016, and they were asked what they feared the most. So 62% said, no, from the respondents, parang 2,000 respondents ito. 62% said that they are terrified of communicating, while only 43% said that they're afraid of dying. Of course, if this research will be conducted on this time of pandemic, I believe there would be changes. But this was conducted in 2016, and many said, 62% said that they're afraid or terrified of communicating. Simply because whenever we communicate, may it be online or face-to-face, communicate with our bosses, communicate with our principals, MTs during post-conferences, we feel terrified communicating with them, even if we just give a reply. Why? Because we are completely conscious. We are conscious individuals whenever we communicate. Naku-conscious tayo kung kita pa ba ako ngayon, kung rinig ba ninyo ako ngayon. Naku-conscious tayo whenever we communicate kung kapag nagtuturo tayo is kita pa ba ang PowerPoint presentation natin. Ano po? So, what else? Another research conducted of over 9,000 respondents, and tinanong sila, what's your greatest fear? I'd like to give you the list. First, from the list, talking with strangers, going to parties, examinations, meeting new people, speaking up in a meeting or class. And of course, what topped the list is technically speaking. communicating with people, no? The greatest fear of almost all of us. Ayaw nating magsalita, ayaw nating lagi tayong usually, no, ang practice is kapag nasa isang orientation or seminar ka, minsan kahit teacher ka, hiyang-hiya ka pang kalabitin yung katabi mo, right? So, what is the concept of having nervousness within us, and why is it normal? Cicero, Abraham Lincoln, Jennifer Lawrence, Oprah Winfrey, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Adele. All these people, no, yung stage has been their second home already, especially for most, no, mga buhay pa natin ng mga speakers and actors, actresses, no, magagaling na talagang mga batikan. Actually, Leonardo DiCaprio and Adele said, sana hindi na lang ako nanalo ng award kasi I would have to give an acceptance speech before getting the award. So you see, even if these people are very fond of speaking sa screen, acting sa screen, singing, still they felt nervousness. Ano po? I'd like to give you an example. So we have two teachers here. We have Miss A and we have Miss B. No? So let us think na itong dalawang teachers po natin will be working on their synchronous class next week. So let's start with Miss A. Si Miss A, no, magtuturo siya and she feels nervous about it. No? Kakakaba siya. Kasi it's the first time, well, it's the first time of everybody. Lahat po tayo first time natin, no, to deal online. Especially kung ikaw ay teacher na sanay talagang magturo face to face, no? Kinabahan siya. So what she did with her nervousness was she tried to hit the books, search online, and found many important things, tools, games, activities that she could bring into her classroom. No? Naghanap siya ng mga games na pwedeng applicable online. Kasi not all games, no, not all presentations that we had way back ay applicable sa online class. I believe that you will agree with me. And so, it resulted to a successful online class. Let's go to Mr. B. No? Si Mr. B, naisip niya, I'm a seasoned teacher, no? Alam ko na yung ginagawa ko. I know very well my subject matter and I could just easily use the resources that I know to my online class. That's it. And then after that, no, na-realize niya na dapat pala nag-search ako ng game, dapat pala nag-search ako ng activity. And of course, this will result to students not being able to achieve, no, maybe a learning development or maybe achieve emotions na dapat maramdaman nila sa online class. And our students must feel safe in our online classes. And well, I guess that the term is very simple, but our students must enjoy our classes. And we have to do all things, no, whatever it takes for them or for us to deliver so that our students will be able to get the education that they truly deserve, especially now that the time is very challenging. Ano po? So, how do we deal, no? How do we deal with online classroom filters such as nervousness, lack of self-confidence, and learning anxiety? Ano po ba yung pwede nating gawin? If you are a person listening right now and you're a student or a teacher, I hope this will be applicable to all of your endeavors online. So, let us start. First, you have to acquire experience. The more speeches you give online, the less threatening it will become. It doesn't really have to be, or it doesn't really have to have a big audience, no? Once you get a particular experience and you have an audience, maybe one or two, still it's an experience. If you are a student, well, I suggest you try to open your microphones rather than typing your answers in short responses. Sometimes there are classes that would tell their students, o sige, kung nahihiya kayo, you may type or key in your answers via chat box. Ano po, may mga teachers po na ganon. And then next meeting, instead of typing, you may open your microphone. unti-untiin natin, no? Unti-untiin po natin. And just like what I said in the previous webinar with VIBAL, no? Let us give allowance to our students. Huwag natin silang madaliin, no? Kailangan i-open mo yung microphone mo, kailangan i-open mo yung camera mo, no? Some of our students are still uncomfortable in their household. May mga kapatid sila sa harap, may mga magulang sila sa harap, no? Hirap sila. And sometimes they find discomfort whenever nakabantay ang mga magulang nila, no? Especially sa ating mga elementary students. So, what if you're a teacher? How are you going to acquire experience? Minsan si boss magsasabi or principal, o ganito ma'am, ikaw po ang mag-facilitate ng ating faculty meeting sa susunod po nating orientation or susunod nating departmental meeting. And you would tell your boss or you would tell your principal, sir, ma'am, si ano na lang po kasi mas magaling po siya sa akin eh, or sanay na po siya. If we do these things, if we mention these statements, no, parang nire-rob natin ang mga sarili natin from the experience, no, of learning new things online. So, well, some would, this is off-quoted, but some would say, ang bida-bida naman ng teacher na yan, no? This is an experience that we must all acquire, an experience that we must all get. Now, whatever it takes, especially that we are experiencing this, no? Kung palagi kang nasa harap ng camera, nasa harap ng Meet or Zoom, masasanay at masasanay rin po tayo. Kung ikaw ay estudyante, masasanay ka rin. Kung ikaw ay teacher, masasanay ka din, no? Siguro A ka ngayon, but definitely, hopefully, after this webinar, you will become the B person earlier. Next, the next thing that we could do is to prepare. No, prepare. Proper preparation could reduce fright in communicating online of up to 75%. Sabi natin kanina, no, it does not go away. No, nervousness will always be there and it is completely normal. That's the reason why even if how much you prepare, you would still feel nervousness within you. So 75% ma-reduce, okay na yon, no? Why do we have to have kaba? No, bakit natin kailangan kabahan ng kaunti? No, meron nga tayong sinasabi sa Filipino, "Oy, kabahan ka naman." No? Why? Because sometimes when we are too self-assured, no? Self-assured tayo na nagawa na natin lahat, alam na natin 'yan, no? What happens is that minsan hindi natin nakukuha yung target natin. No? Kasi nga, sobrang self-assured tayo sa mga ginagawa natin. The same goes with teaching online. Prepare, double-check everything. No? Try your best to prepare for the activities. Ganyan. So, what else? If you are a student, then pick the topics that you truly care about. Some would say, Bill, hindi naman kami nakakapili ng topic kapag pinagre-report kami ng teacher namin. Then you may want to go on with your reporting, and then after that, pick examples that really matter to you. No? Kumuha ka ng examples that really matter to you and then emphasize that during the presentation. Next, online classroom objectives must be accomplished on time. So ito yung nangyayari kapag minsan we lack preparation, no? Pero minsan hindi natin masisi. Why? Kasi it's just too difficult to work on your synchronous class. Nagta-type ka ng PowerPoint. I saw some of my teachers from Jose Abad Santos High School, and they were sharing na talagang nahihirapan sila working on their PowerPoint. Nagpapatulong sila sa kanilang mga pamangkin or anak. And I think that's the best attitude of an educator, no? I-try natin subukan yung mga bagay for the first time, and ultimately we will learn how to navigate the tools online. Okay? So next po, think positively, no? Positive thinking is prerequisite of confidence. Pag positive ka lagi sa mga ginagawa mo and you're very positive teaching your students online, even if you see them online, your students will feel it. Your students will feel your emotion, your attitude towards online classroom teaching. Di ba po? So confidence is mostly well-known power of positive thinking. And if you predict disaster, that is almost always what you get. So hindi ko to kayang gawin. If you're a teacher, you would tell them, isulat nyo na lang to ha, tapos picturean ninyo dahil hindi ko kaya or hindi ako marunong. No, hindi ako marunong. So kayo na yung mag-adjust, picturean ninyo, i-send ninyo sa akin. Hindi ko kaya. For students, I cannot give longer responses. I can only do short responses. I cannot do the presentation. This is one difficult task for teachers, to get students to speak online. Sobrang hirap po. Sobrang hirap. Like, open your mic. You can do that. No, power words lang. No? So if you predict disaster, that is almost always what you get. But if you have positivity in you, that you can do it, you did the first things that we've mentioned, acquire experience, you prepared very well, then I don't think there will be reasons for you not to be successful in communicating online. May it be with your teacher, or a teacher to an MT, a teacher to the principal, no? Wala pong magiging problema. Next is use the power of visualization. There was one athlete who won the Olympics, no? Tinanong siya, he was asked, bakit ka nanalo? No? What tip can you give to all athletes out there, athletes around the world? And sabi niya, I made use of the power of visualization. No? While I was doing the stunts, I did exactly what I visualized. I did exactly as I've practiced. No? Eksakto. And during that time na ginagawa niya yung stunts, nakita niya na mananalo siya. And he was asked again, does it always work? And he answered, it doesn't always work, but it works most of the time. So if we have that kind of attitude and we have the power to visualize success, no, the key to visualization is creating a mental image of yourself successfully going about with your online class. If you are a student, visualize yourself that you will be able to tick off everything from the list, no? Na pag binuksan mo yung Google Classroom mo, malinis, submitted lahat, turned in lahat. If you're a teacher, you open your calendars, you open your task for the day, no? Meetings, tick off lahat. Try to visualize that. And you may say, Belle, napaka-ideal naman yan. But I guess this is true, no? Ang dami nating, again, narinig na webinars about mental health awareness, mga pwede nating gawin, no, para maging productive tayo, raise productivity in our workplaces, then I believe that we can do it. All right? Next one po. Ayan, so alin ba tayo dito? So kayo na po yung mamili. Ikaw ba yung productive na teacher or student, or ikaw ba yung mag-overthink na I cannot do this. But we also have to understand that since we are talking about communication here and breaking down filters for our students, we have to understand that the words we mention, words we say to our students would mean a lot. It could make or break them. It could motivate or demotivate them to do something. Next is, know that most nervousness isn't visible. Ano po ibig sabihin nun? Hindi naman lahat napapansin na kinakabahan ka. No? If you're asked to pitch something, like suggest something during a faculty meeting, nanginginig ka na sa upuan mo, sa office mo, sa bahay, no? Kinakabahan ka na, you're trembling, butterflies in your stomach, no? Your viewers would see very few of it, no? Very few of your nervousness of them, okay? So, ikaw lang ang nakakaramdam niyan. And since that's the case, then you might as well want to go on with the presentation. Okay? So your nervous system may be giving you 1,000 shocks, but the viewer can only see very few of them. So the next time you do the presentation, no, try your best. And I know you can do it. Student and teacher, likewise, no, we will all be able to do it. Next is, do not expect for perfection. Now, at some point in every presentation, every speaker says or does something that does not come across exactly as planned. And sometimes, no, halimbawa po, katulad ng pagtuturo natin online, no, naka-time tayo. Sa time na to, magkakaroon ako ng motivation. Next, sa time na to, mag-erase ako ng question or activity. Then after this, magdi-discuss ako, and then a short activity. But what if may intermittent connection tayo online. What if ang bagal ng internet? What if umulan? Kaya si Belle nasa office ngayon, no? Kasi takot ako sa bahay dahil baka mawalan ako ng internet connection. 'Di ba? What if these things happen during an online activity? No? It will disappoint you. It may disappoint your students, but we have to know that we must not always expect for perfection. Okay? Kaya masaya ako whenever I hear teachers or students would say, ang sama ng loob ko, hindi ko naayos yung online class kasi nagbagal yung internet ko and I'm wondering where the students went, kamusta ba sila, nandun ako sa labas ng meet and they're all in the meet, no? Kasi these attitude or statements would tell us that the teachers really care, no? May pakialam sila. Yun nga yung lagi nating term na, may pakialam sila, no? They really care about their students, they care about their welfare, especially they care about ano na ba yung nangyari sa estudyante during the time that nawala sila sa meet, and it disappoints everybody. It disappoints the presenter himself or herself. But we have to understand that there are some plans, no, na hindi natin maipupush through. But through practice, no, and understanding situations, we will be able to successfully deliver well, no? And of course, what are some tips, no, on how our students could navigate during online class, no? And what are the things that we could give them para hindi sila mailang? Minsan kasi po, I don't know if you will agree with me, but there are a lot of students na minsan nako-confuse talaga silang magtanong, nako-confuse silang magsabi sa teachers, and I don't want to use the term, I don't want to drop the term natatakot, but sometimes our students, no, natatakot silang magtanong, natatakot silang maipahiya, no, if we ever have situations like that. They would not ask questions. But if you're the teacher and you'd really like to build a connection with your students, no, communicate with your students very well, you have Google Classroom, you have group chats, ano po, you have chat box, no, meron tayong mga Facebook pages for our students. Drop particular things that could help them. Like say for example, tips on how to navigate during their synchronous and asynchronous classes, Google Classroom tips na makikita ninyo, Teachnology PH, no, I think this one is for teachers. If you have websites or web pages or Facebook pages for your school, we have Colegio San Juan de Letran, no. Normally nagpo-post sila ng mga bagong trends, no, if there is something new in Google Meet or something new on how to maybe as simple as making a signature sa Word, no, things like this. And once we drop this particular information to our students, they would feel na gusto akong tulungan ni ma'am, gusto akong tulungan ni sir. And ultimately, these students will find comfort connecting with you, thus at least, no, we have low filter na sa classroom, or at least kahit papaano mabawasan yung mga filters na meron tayo, inhibitions na meron ng mga bata sa atin. Okay po. Next is memes. No, I've already mentioned this a while ago. I've used this, but I was very careful. No, alam naman natin na one of the most famous learning materials or online learning materials that can be considered is memes. No, nakadepende na yan sa inyo. But I'd like to tell you that whenever you would like to use memes inside your classroom, be careful. No, be careful with the postings, the privacy. No, of course, anything that could affect discrimination, no, race, religion, gender, lahat po yun. Always consider it before using memes inside your classroom, and always be careful. Okay? These things, no, online learning materials, nakikita ng mga estudyante, katulad kanina, the second meme I shared to you was from VIBAL. VIBAL group posted that. So makikita natin, no, if our students see us using these, see us presenting this, inserting this in our online classes, they would easily feel na, naiintindihan ni ma'am yung language ko. Nakikita ni ma'am yung pinagdadaanan ko. Like online class, playing ML, no? Students share a great number of memes. Kaya, pwede po natin siyang ilagay, no? Next, also is insert games. Now, this is very important, and I believe that games are possible. I don't know if there was already a webinar conducted for gamification online, but I believe that there are already a lot. No, I just don't know if meron sa VIBAL, but we can insert games, no? And this is very important. I mean, whenever I hear my brother no nagkaklase siya, iba-iba ang introduction ng teacher. Some teachers would introduce like this. Kamusta kayo? Okay ba kayo? Hawak niyo ba ang mga module ninyo? Or kamusta ang internet connection ninyo? Kamusta ang weekend ninyo? But there are some teachers who would start classes like, please open your module, page 1 to 2, and we'll have our class about. It's up to you, no? I don't know, hindi natin pwedeng isisi lahat sa teacher. But I am very confident that what we do in our online classes would really matter to our students and how they react, no? How they react to our online classes. Kapag komportable ang mga estudyante sa klase mo, you will not have a hard time asking them to communicate with you online, asking them to open your microphone. Minsan nga kapag ang bata sobrang komportable na sa online class, i-open na lang yung camera or mic without asking permission, or just would drop or pitch a suggestion or comment or a question. No, may mga ganong mga estudyante. And the moment that we're able to build the confidence of our students during online classes, it will matter a lot. And it will ultimately change, no, the way we have our online classes. I-try po ninyo, no? Next, ayan, ito yung mga games na ginawa namin. No, we have TikTok challenge. Since I'm teaching speech and oral communication, I ask my students to do TikTok challenge, yung mga more on verbal communication. And then I think this game was about guess the exact lyrics. No, ang ano lang po dito is always ask for volunteers. No, do not put students on the spot. Always ask for volunteers. So I asked volunteers for some students to dance a particular song, no, yung mga sikat, and then they asked their classmates to guess the lyrics, and they enjoyed it. No? Also, asking students to do them a favor, like get something and then eat it, or kaya get a glass of cold water and drink it. So, sumasabay naman sila, sports naman, and they're very confident, they're very happy while we are having the class. And I guess this is one of the most important things that you have to observe while you're having your online class. No, tulad nga ng sabi natin kanina, make sure that your students are not distant, no? Yung tipong aayaw sila, hindi nila i-open ang microphone nila, wala silang pakialam, no? Sabi nga kanina sa meme ng VIBAL, no? Pero ang tilaok ng manok ay malinaw, 'di ba? Pero sabi is wala daw connection. So these things matter a lot. Also, if you can do it, pwede kahit sa very beginning lang ng class, personalize some parts of your lesson for each class. To? I'm not saying you have to personalize one lesson for each class, but I'm saying pick something that could personalize your class for this particular section, like this one. I took some of the pictures, ito cover photo, of course with the consent of the student, and I took their answers coming from the activity I gave them before the lesson for synchronous classes. So makikita nila na binabasa ni ma'am, my answers matter. And then we discussed this in class, no? Maybe you have very good things in mind, no? Pwede nating i-share sa chat box so other teachers could also see our best practices inside the classroom. Sigurado po ako, especially our seasoned teachers, na meron kayong talagang magagandang ideas in mind. So you may want to share it to the group. Okay? So ito po, you personalize some parts of your lesson for your classes. Next is an online merienda. I actually got this from our online meeting, no? And one of our teachers, credits to Sir Kalasin, one of our teachers gave this particular activity. So meron siyang pinakita na merienda, no? Online merienda. And pwede natin itong gawin sa mga classes natin, ipakita natin sa mga bata, no? At least give them something na medyo magkakaroon ng yung mood is magiging light kahit papaano before you start the class. And this is not only to give just a picture, but this is also to remind our students to take short breaks in between. No, magpahinga kayo kung hindi pa kayo nakakakain and magkaklase na tayo, you may want to grab something with you. No, after all, your focus into the lesson is needed. No, yun naman ang kailangan natin in the participation. So, kumain ka, ako I allow my students to eat, especially if it's a very early online class, like 7:30 to 8:30, sige po, pwedeng kumain. So, this is one way to tell our students na we care about them, we care about their health, especially now that we have to protect our health and sanity, no? Pakainin, wag naman, I don't know, hindi ko po alam, no, but wag naman sana tayong maging masyadong mahigpit. Like say for example, hindi pa kumakain, nagsabi yung bata, hindi pwede, kailangan focus ka lang sa online class ko, no? So let us let them do this. And of course, no, to end, I mean to give you the last tip on what we can do so that we can better communicate with our students is that since we started our classes with a lot of motivation, then we always end the class with meaningful reminders. If Bell says meaningful reminders, hindi po ito yung, student A, ikaw na lang ang kulang sa class record ko. Butas-butas to, magpasa ka na mamaya. Okay? So, minsan, doon tayo nag-end ng classes natin, ng online classes natin, without even knowing that the last 5 to 10 minutes of our time with our students ay yung pinaka-crucial na time natin with them. No? So, always end your class with meaningful reminders, meaningful words, no, like you can do this if you have problems in terms of the deadline, and if you feel like the deadline ay hindi naman tama para sa work na binigay ko na wait, then please tell me, raise your concern. Always give them like a space where they could tell you na, ma'am, parang hindi naman po ata tama yung deadline, baka pwede naman po nating may adjust. So let us try to include that in our reminders, no? And also kamustahin nyo sila, lagi nyo silang kumustahin, kumusta yung pinapagawa ko, nagagawa ba ninyo, nakasasabay ba kayo sa mga ginagawa natin, things like that, no? And once our students hear these power words, hear these meaningful reminders, they would think na may pakialam sa akin si ma'am. I like this subject, I want to learn more because my teacher cares about me. My teacher cares about my welfare and my health, especially now. No? Iba po kasi, I don't know, this is different. The times are different. We're having a lot of webinars and these webinars keep telling us, this time is different. Ibang-iba to sa face-to-face natin. So the things that we did in the past, yung mga na-practice na natin, no, mga ways natin as teachers, if we can do it, try to give allowance to our students, then let's try our best to do it, no? So I don't want to sensationalize this cartoon, but there's a lot of meaning to it. No, we give credit. No, we try to give credit to our teachers and students who are, battling with all of the distractions, all of the struggles, no, especially in a lot of the educational system na nangyayari ngayon. So we give credit for their hard work, especially to our students and teachers who are teaching in the provinces na talaga namang very challenging ang connection. Ano po? So, bigyan natin sila ng credit doon. And please know that you are not alone. Kung magbabasa tayo ng chat box, I hope we would see comments there, no, that others are also experiencing the same things, no? And let us try our best to communicate with our students, no? And as much as possible, bigyan natin ng extra effort, no? But of course, let us not forget to communicate with them in terms of the rules, regulations that we have, and that all of us deserve a break as well. Okay? So to end this particular webinar, no, or sharing, I would like to end with my answer when I was asked why did I become a teacher. So I realized the value of not only imparting to students the content of the course, but also helping them find their way to explore undiscovered paths and unrealized talents in this time of uncertainty, and confusion. 6 years and counting, and I have no regrets. Alright po, so kahit gaano tayo kagaling sa mga subject matter natin, kahit gaano tayo kagaling with our content, if we do not know how to communicate with our students, and if we do not try our best to communicate with our students using their language, we will never be successful, no, in making our students learn inside their classes or inside our online learning classrooms. So I hope that you're able to get something with you, and I thank you for being here. I know it's already afternoon, so thank you very much for being with me this afternoon. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Now we will proceed to the question and answer portion. Our first question is from Mateo Wenceslao. Paano po namin matutulungan yung mga fellow teacher namin na kabado sa online teaching, both po na para sa mas matanda and mas baguhan?
I think for that question, we can have peer teaching. No, meron tayong mga tinatawag na peer teaching, no. Dito po kasi sa Letran, no, we just had our Google Classroom trainings, no. And then nagkakaroon kami ng peer, no. So ikaw kabady mo si ganito, ikaw kabady mo si ganito. Of course, we first have to be, respectful kung paano natin aatakihin, especially if we are communicating with someone or with a teacher who is a very seasoned, no, seasoned teacher na talagang magaling sa content. And I guess kung lahat naman ng mga teachers natin would have the same goal to be successful in an online learning classroom, siguro wala naman po tayong magiging problema. But since we are having this particular activity, a webinar such as this, then I guess the first thing that you can do is to pitch the information that you got from here to them. And then from there, you may want to show them, no, yung mga achievements na nagawa mo in your online class, and how much you'd like to share this with them.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Our next question is from Baskis. How can we convince our students to speak in front of others if even a simple recitation they won't do, and even we allow them to speak in our own dialect in order to express well their opinion, but they prefer to say, I don't know, or iba na lang po, ma'am?
Iba na lang po, ma'am. Okay. Ito po yung nangyari hindi lang sa iyo, kung sino man po yung nagtanong, no? Nangyari din po ito kay Belle. Nangyari rin yan sa akin. No? But I give students allowance. Like say for example, ang estudyanteng to is umayaw, and so magtatawag ako ulit. And then I would tell the student, as for Belle, since hindi ka nakasagot, then you may want to try your best again next meeting, no? And as for my class, no, usually talaga for example, first 2 months, i-allow natin mag-code switch, no? And then after that, kailangan nilang magsalita na talaga in English, no? I think it matters a lot that we use comforting words so our students would really speak in class. No, minsan kasi nahihiya lang, may mga estudyante ako na talagang nagugulat ako once they open their mouth or once they pitch something, kasi talagang magagaling pero tahimik sa klase. I mean, all they need to do is a little push, like you can do it, kaya mo yan, na there is no harm in trying, no? Power words. Then if hindi talaga uubra, then I guess we have to put extra effort into communicating by student, no, one-on-one siguro. Lalo na if we see that this particular student has potential to speak really well in class.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Our next question is from Glenn Angeles Movilla. I agree with you, ma'am. How if we have that kind of teacher na masyadong prim and loud magsalita? Paano po sasabihin sa kanya na ganun siya? Especially, I am a teacher and also a parent who always hear online teachers na ganun magsalita.
Well, I'd like to answer on a technical level po, no? Not on a personal level. Because if it's on a personal level, I would have another answer. But I'd answer that on a technical level. No, we have a lot of ways to evaluate our teachers. No, if you are if that particular student is enrolled in both private and public institutions, I believe that there are evaluations for teachers, no? Pwede nating i-evaluate doon. And we could always put our comments on how teachers could improve on their work. Minsan kasi, I don't know, some teachers may not accept criticisms. No, we don't like criticisms. Filipinos don't like it. But I think it is very much important na no kung if ito naman po ay teacher, kung teacher din po kayo and you'd really like to raise this concern to the teacher, you may want to have an appointment with the teacher. Okay? Idadaan natin siya sa tamang proseso. Hindi natin siya ipo-post online, hindi natin siya sasabihan on the spot like blunt ako prangka ako na tao, no? So I'd like to tell the teacher that she's very loud and that she shouts all the time, no? Kumbaga, yes, maaring ganon ang dating sa atin. So we may want to go to that particular teacher, get an appointment, and try to discuss matters regarding the voice or regarding the way on how the teacher presents in class, especially yung pagtaas ng boses. So maaari naman po yun. Kumbaga, lagi lang nating itama yung way ng pagsasabi natin ng ating mga concerns. Ayun lang naman po.
Thank you very much, ma'am. That's all the questions we have for now. Any last
I will-
reminders to our viewers for today po?
Ayan, so for our viewers, again, apologies kanina na nag-shutdown ng computer and I'd like to remind you about this, no? So instead of saying or maybe dropping things that may be mean, let us always have meaningful conversations with our students. And we may be in person A right now, but ultimately we'll become person B. And I hope that all of us will become successful in our teaching online, and I truly hope that I will be seeing all of you soon in our next webinars or in our future webinars. Again, thank you very much for your time, and take care and happy online classes.
There we have it. In behalf of VIBAL Group Incorporated, I would like to thank our speaker for today for this very eye-opening and insightful learning session. It is an honor to have you with us today, ma'am. And to all our Kavibao viewers, all thanks to you for your continuous patronage to our daily learning session. Don't forget to register to get your e-certificate of participation. We also encourage you to subscribe and watch on our official VIVAL Facebook and YouTube channel. Muli, maraming salamat at magandang araw sa ating lahat.
Thank you very much po.